Now, coming up right here very soon, it's the end of the trail match. And one of the folks involved in the end of the trail match is the King. And speaking of the trail, it's been a long one and a pretty successful one with that belt you've got in your hand here.
Well, Dave, you know, I listened a few minutes ago to the voice of the World Wrestling Federation, Mr. Vince McMahon. And it's no secret to anybody, you know, I've been doing a lot of actually voiceover work in the World Wrestling Federation myself. And it's really a funny situation. You know, they contacted me a long time ago, and I have told everybody what I think about the World Wrestling Federation and all of its members. I can't stand any of them. I don't like one single person up there. And I took that position only to prove to the world, because you know, Dave, and all of the wrestling fans here in the USWA know, that for years, the World Wrestling Federation looked down their noses at everybody else in professional wrestling. They thought they were it. They thought they were the big cheese, and anybody else that wasn't associated with them were a bunch of local yokels. Well, I went up there to prove the point that we right here in the USWA are just as good as any wrestlers the World Wrestling Federation has, if not better. And I think I've proven that point. And every week or so when I go up there to do the voiceovers on these matches, we have to go into a room. Vince McMahon, Randy Macho Man Savage, and myself. And we have to sit down to microphones and watch these matches and do the commentary on them. And I tell it like it is. I tell them just what a bunch of jokes I think all of those wrestlers are up there. And Vince McMahon and Macho Man stood about 10 feet away from me, and they try to tell everybody just how great the World Wrestling Federation is. But the interesting thing is that people don't see is that Vince McMahon has 3 bodyguards with him and 2 policemen with him at all times, because he knows that if I ever get my hands on him, I will beat the voice right out of him, and there won't be anything. You know, it'd be hard to be the voice of the World Wrestling Federation when he's trying to talk with no teeth. And Vince McMahon, I want to invite you back down here to the USWA. I want to give you a personal invitation. You come on down with Tatanka, you come on down with any of your big WWF stars, and I'll show you what we're all about down here, just like I'm going to do Tatanka. Now, you see this little picture behind us here. You see what it says. There's a tired old Indian standing at the end of the trail. It's been a long road for him, and it's been a long road for Tatanka. Yeah, he's been in the World Wrestling Federation, and he's faced all the big stars up there, and somehow, by hook or crook, he has remained undefeated. Vince McMahon comes out here shouting about how Tatanka is undefeated. Well, this week, he's coming into my backyard, and he is coming to the end of his trail. Because, you see, I go back a long way, and I remember playing Cowboys and Indians from the time I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And not one time do I ever remember the Indians winning. Do you? Cowboys always beat Indians, pal. And I'm going to tell you something. Well, except for the football season. I'm going to tell you something. When Tatanka comes to town, like you said, McMahon, he better bring some fire. He better be a fiery Indian. He better drink a little fire water, as a matter of fact, because I got something to put on that Indian that Ajax won't take off. Bring him on, Vince McMahon, because the king is ready for him. You want to call me the king of the cheaters? I like to say I'll do what it takes to win. And I'll do what it takes to win against Tatanka, because I'm winning for this crowd, for USWA, and all of these great fans right here. Not any of you jerks in the World Wrestling Federation. So bring it on. Because like I said, I got something for Tatanka.
There's the King. He's planning on hanging on to that belt and planning on it being the end of the trail for Tatanka's undefeated run. Well, it's not the only match.